Hi everyone, this is Maggie. Welcome to my channel. I'm so thankful that you stopped by to see me today. I hope everybody is doing well, and whatever time of the day it is for you, you're having a wonderful day and that you are blessed. Today we're going to start working on the black and white channel of, I'm sorry, the black and white journal. Oh boy, I'm getting off to a good start already. And I'm going to call this Black and White Friday. I was just going to say Black Friday, but that too much brings to the idea of, it's getting shopping time, and I'm just not ready for the holidays yet. So I'm calling it Black and White Friday. And on Fridays, we'll be working on the black and white journal for now. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, like maybe I bit off more than I could chew by doing that journal and the my current journal, which is going to be the nurse journal, which I'll be starting on in a couple of days, and also the one that my daughter requested in memory of my husband, or memories of my husband, I should say, where it's not a memorial in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to get started on it today. Now, I built the base off. I built the base off camera just to get it out of the way. I actually built all three of my bases for the three journals. So I've got one for the nurse and one for and also one for the for my husband. And I made these all with 1.5 inch spine. I only plan to put one signature into these journals. But like what happened with the Paris journal, for instance, I was not expecting the Paris journal to become this chunky, but it did. So in this case, I wish I would have put the bigger spine in. I only put an inch spine in here, which was fine, but it could have been a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go with the 1.5 inch. I made another journal with a 1.5 inch that was only one signature, and there was room in here, but it was fine. It was no problem. So that's what I'm going to do with all three of these journals. I'm only planning on one signature, and we will go from there. Now, I was going to put the cover on off camera, but I decided, because I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants with this journal, I really want it to be a little bit more organic than some are. Some of my other journals have been, but at the same time, I don't want to just be fumbling with it either. So I decided, in order to get off on a good start, I would just start from the beginning and start with the cover and get the cover made first. I've been collecting some papers. I also purchased on Etsy some black and white fussy cuts. But I don't know that there'll be any of the traditional kind of junk journal pages in here, like that I normally use in my journals. I think there'll be more of a black and white page of some sort of design or whatever, and it may have a pocket on it, or be decorated with these black and white fussy cuts. And I don't know what's all in that pack, so I'll have to kind of wait till I see. But I'm kind of feel like I'm going to be moving in that direction, but we'll see. I think this journal is going to be fun. It's going to be fun for me to make, and I hope that you will come along and enjoy it just as much as I think I'm going to. So here's my fabric. When I was going through my stash of fabrics, I already knew I had this nice little pack of black and white fussy cuts. I also had some black and white Steamboat Willie fabric in my stash that I had planned at one time to make a quilt with. And to go along with that, I had some black and white with red Mickey Mouse and Minnie. It must have been something to do with Paris because it's got little Eiffel Towers on it. And the red was, of course, Minnie's skirt. I think it's a skirt, and Mickey's pants. So I am going to add, and I said this when I first said I was going to do this journal, a little dash of color here and there, and it will primarily be the primary colors. I'm hoping mostly red to kind of make it pop a little bit. And since I have not decided on what I'm going to put on the inside of my covers, that is going to have to wait till I do some other things. But at least I'll have the cover, the base is made. Ta-da! And having the fabric on the cover will help a lot because I'll know what I'm working with. I took a picture of all the fabrics that I had and I sent it to my daughter. She was working, but she said she would look at it for me, and because I didn't know which one to choose, to be honest. I really liked several of them, and I just, now the thought came to me, I could have actually made like a patchwork sort of quilt out of the ones that I liked the most and used them all. But I didn't think of that then, and I'm not going to do that now. I've got some other idea for some of this material. So I sent her the picture, and she circled this particular fabric. So this is the one I'm going to choose with. This is the one I chose, and this was, as a matter of fact, one of the ones that I was leaning towards. So I appreciate your help. You know who you are. I really am trying to avoid using my children or my daughters or my grandchildren's first names on the videos, just to maintain their privacy, and I believe that's what they prefer as well. And if they change their mind, they'll let me know. But in the meantime, I mean, occasionally one of their names slips out because it's just second nature to me. If you have children, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So this fabric was a little big. I'm just going to rip it. I love ripping fabric. If you hate this sound, I apologize in advance, but it'll be over quickly. There we go. All done. All right. I've just got all kinds of strings here that I'm going to add to my science project, which would be my little jar full of strings. All right, and I did change my little fabric box bag that I keep, or basket that I keep on my desk. I got a bigger one out, and so when I emptied the small one out, I mean some of these fabrics were like molded to the basket. They were in there so tightly. I had just kept pushing them down and pushing them down. So now they have a little room to breathe. Oh, I might as well put these strings in here. Yeah, this is crazy, I think. But there you have it. I mean, they're strings. All right, so we're going to start by gluing this down. Now I have found, I mean, you can iron your fabric if you want to, and I have ironed my fabric in some instances when it's just been really, really badly wrinkled. But in most cases, once you use the fabric tack and you spread it out, most of the time, most of the worst of the wrinkles will come out. And that's what we're going to do in this case. It's not badly wrinkled. It's a nice cotton material. So we're just going to glue her down. And I do thank you so much for coming to see me, for watching my videos. I really am grateful for it. And I hope you get some value from watching my video. Maybe that you're inspired to do something that you haven't done in a while, or that you've never done. Don't be afraid. If you're new, don't be afraid to try new things. And if you see something that I do, or something that anybody does, and you like it, don't be afraid to try it. I mean, you know, like everybody always says, it's just paper, you know, and most things can be fixed. So don't be afraid to try. There's things that I would have liked to have tried when I first started, but I literally was afraid to because I didn't think I could do it. And now some of those things I do routinely. Some of them I'm just now attempting to do, and I'm quite happy that I did them. And they weren't as scary as I thought they were. So don't be afraid to try something that you see, that there's so many wonderful creators that have such beautiful ideas, and they do things with so much ease that it's mind-boggling. And it, you know, if you're like me watching it and with no self-confidence about some of these things, then you're like, wow, you know, I could never do that. When in actual fact, you probably could, if you just pay attention and don't be afraid to try it. That's all you have to do, is just be afraid to try it. I guess it's like anything else in life, you know. If we're too afraid to try new things, then we miss out on a lot of what could be's, you know, and they end up being, oh, if only I would have, you know. So don't be afraid to try new things. You'll find that you're way more capable than you thought you were. You really will. So, yeah, I don't know what the temperature is outside today. I haven't looked. It's sunny though. We did have a lot of stormy weather yesterday, but it's sunny today for now. And so I'm not cold in particular. I'm not real warm either. I'm just comfortable. But yes, I do have this long sleeve shirt. But apparently, as I was waking up this morning, one of my small dogs scratched my arm really bad, and it looks terrible. So I decided just to put this long sleeve shirt on rather than to expose you to that. She's a sweet, sweet little dog. Believe me, she is. But she doesn't know her own strength, I don't think. And she would never hurt anybody. She doesn't do it, of course, to hurt me. It's probably because I wasn't waking up fast enough. And so anyway, so that's why I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt. Okay, let me get my corner, my miter tool. Now, one thing, ever since I started making junk journals, my long year and something career of it, so I don't have a lot of experience, but you know, I do the best I can. I've never been able to miter corners. I either get them too big or too small. I never can get them right. So I'm not ashamed to tell you that I use the tools that are at my I have at hand, and I miter my corners with this nice little tool. And it's usually the fabric ones that I have the most problem with because sometimes they want to unravel. But that's not really a problem either because I can put, you know, the corners on them, the protective corners, which I do put. I don't think I've made one journal that I haven't put those on, although I'm sure I probably have. I like the way they look, and they do cover up those nasty little corners when they don't come out right. So hopefully these will come out right. I love a little rotary cutter. That's the other thing I'm not good at. I see some ladies using X-Acto knives and craft knives with such ease that it just blows me away because I can't do it. I've ruined more than one ruler trying to do that. I should get my quilting rulers out. They might hold up a little bit better to the X-Acto knife. I don't know, but I just cannot seem to get them straight. I have my glasses on, so I generally do my long sides first. I don't know really if there's a right or a wrong way to do this, but I do my long sides first, partly because I've noticed that once you fold the ends up, it is easier to get the little corners tucked in when you just have the shorter side to continue with. Now that could just be, I don't know, be a me thing. I don't know. So I really haven't got anything to show you on this video yet as far as what papers I'm going to use for signatures. I do have some picked out. And I do have some that kind of came to me by surprise. I was surprised to get them. They weren't like a gift or anything like that, but I think they're going to work great, but I wasn't anticipating that, to be honest. And I generally, when I'm gluing these, I try to get my fabric or whatever I'm doing down into the folds, the spine fold. No, it wasn't this one. It wasn't this cover that I worked on. It was this cover. And I accidentally cut it an inch too short. And this particular, I really think I'm going to like. I've never used this particular chipboard before, but I think I'm going to like it. And but I wasn't paying attention. I was watching another video, and I can get a whole cover except for the spine out of one sheet. So I had cut them. I had all my, these covers laid out and all cut and everything. And I was on the very last one, and I was ready to make the 9-inch cut, 6 by 9, and I accidentally cut it at 8. Thankfully, I didn't cut it all the way through, but it was just hanging there by a thread, so as to speak. So I just did some doctoring on it. I wrapped it in medical tape, poor little thing, and then I put some heavier cardstock over it. And, now it's just fine. You'd never know that it was there. Had I not done that, I would have had to cut a whole new sheet. And this, or if I hadn't bandaged it up like this, it would be very weak right here. So I managed to skirt that disaster. So I'm just trying to get this glue out of here, which is not really wanting to cooperate with me that much. And yes, there's something on on here on the back of this. I don't like to waste paper, especially cardstock. And my 32-pound paper, it's a little harder with that, but with the cardstock, as long as it's just been printed on one side, and these were like overprints or the misprints, I try to reuse them. And I like to wrap these in cardstock. It just adds some more stability to it. And I feel like the journal will last longer when it's covered in this manner, or when it's made like this. I told you I used to make all my journals until I didn't start using the chipboard until I made the mini album for my daughter's baby shower. And I liked it so well that I've just pretty much used it exclusively since then, except for my idea book. I did make that from a wrapper, an Amazon wrap envelope, a great big one. And I'm just trying my best to get this to lay down, but it looks like it's not going to do that for me. This one doesn't look so unruly, but this one, there, maybe that will do it. I don't know. I always find the paper easier to fold in and get those corners tucked in than the fabric. And well, that's not too bad. We'll go with it. Not too bad. Now, if you don't have chipboard, one thing I have never done, but I see all the creators do it, is using old boxes, well, not old boxes, but they're empty boxes, cereal boxes, stuffing boxes, cake boxes, cake mix boxes, whatever. I try to put a little bit of extra glue on these corners so that I can hopefully encourage them to behave themselves. But sometimes I actually think it's the corner that's made from the paper that's on here. I think it might just get too bulky, and the fabric just has a hard time. So I'm not going to spend forever on this. I'm sorry. I'm just making an effort. If it doesn't want to tuck down, well, it doesn't. I'll just put a corner protector over it. I was going to do it anyway. So what was I talking about? Oh, using the chipboard. Don't be afraid to take, I have a couple of boxes set aside actually that I'm going to use to make journals. They're going to be a little bit smaller journals. I wouldn't say mini journals, but they're going to be smaller than the typical 6x9. But I haven't decided what kind of a journal I'm going to make them with. We actually don't go through a lot of boxes. I think most of our meals are made from scratch other than cereal boxes. And so there you have it. Okay, this is our cover. And that's the end of the video. No, it's not. I've got something else that I'm going to share with you that I hope you enjoy. I have never done this before. I've never seen anybody else doing it, but I'm sure it has been done. I mean, There's very few things that haven't been done by somebody else, and I lay no claim to any of them, believe me. I'm just not that, I'm not that clever. But I have actually never seen anybody do this particular thing. But like I said, that doesn't mean that it's not out there. It's just that I haven't done it before. So I am going to make a fabric page for this journal. Actually, I want to make 2 of them, but I'm only going to make 1 of them today because I have no idea how this is going to go. I really don't. It's more of an experiment. So I've got something here to protect my desk. I think this might be overkill, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. It's a little bit smoother than using a bath towel or, you know, a terry cloth towel. I've got this little crafting iron here. It actually does get pretty hot. There's no control over how hot you want it to be, and it is a little steam iron, but I don't want steam for this. And I've got 2 pieces of my fabric. One is the same as the cover. That was totally by accident. And the other is my Steamboat Willie, which I absolutely love. I love this fabric. So, and this is supposed to be heavy, heavy interfacing. Now, I have very rarely, I haven't used interfacing that much. Occasionally if I was making a garment of some sort, but most of the time I usually end up making my own interfacing. So this is just to give the fabric a little, I'm hoping it will give it a little bit of stiffness, and I'm actually going to put some on each fabric, on each piece of fabric. Then I'm going to sew them together. Now I think what I'm going to do is sew them together. I'm not going to do it on camera though. I think I will just stop the camera and do it and then come back and show you the results. So let me plug my iron in and we will begin the experiment. I always loved experiments when I was in school. You know, science experiments, whatever. I found them quite fascinating. I hope this will, this is a heavy duty cord, so that's a good thing. All right, so I'm gonna set it right there. I've got a plug right here, over here to the side. Oh dear. We're just gonna wait for a minute for that to get hot. I'm gonna do one. At first I was just gonna use one piece of interfacing and put it on one fabric and then sew them together. But I think I'm going to use one for each piece. And I don't think I need anything between this, but let me just double check. Oh, I do need something else to put on here. Well, let's see. Let me see if I can find something. I'll be right back. I'm back. This is a pretty heavy duty paper towel, so I think I'm going to use this. This is pretty hot. The problem is this. I don't know if I've got enough. Okay, I need to move this over a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit out of frame. A lot out of frame, but hopefully this will work. So I'm just ironing this. The paper towel is working fine. It's not, I just don't have enough cord space. My cord isn't quite long enough. Hopefully it is adhering. I don't know yet. So let's see. No, it's not adhering at all. I'm going to try it like this. See what happens. I'm not following the directions. Now it's sticking. I'm not using the cloth in between the paper towel, and so I know I wouldn't want to leave this just sitting on this interfacing. I'm not sure if it would melt or what might happen, but it is adhering, and doesn't seem to be anything happening that shouldn't be happening other than that it is sticking. This is supposed to be machine washable once it's adhered, although this is going to be a page in a journal, so I don't think it'll ever be washed. So this is a very nice little crafting iron. As I said, it does have the ability for steam, which, you know, if you're trying to get the wrinkles out of something, that could be very helpful. I don't use it very often. I don't find the need for it too often. But this is what I use if I do want to iron a piece of fabric. This is one of the first items that I bought from Temu. It was very inexpensive, like $5 or $6 maybe. I have no idea what it would cost now though, and you know, any kind of crafting iron would do the same thing, and I know you can purchase those on Amazon. I know Joanne used to sell them. I'm pretty sure they did anyway. They sold all kinds of irons. But I don't know. I'm sure Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's also sells them, but they're very handy to have. They are very handy to have. That way I don't have to bring the great big iron up here. And so, because I could never use the big iron on my desk. It would require bringing the ironing board and, you know, everything that goes along with it. Okay, so this is pretty well adhered. I think the problem is that this iron might not be quite hot enough, although it is doing the job if I just apply a little pressure. But probably the preferred way of doing this, the recommended way, is probably with a regular iron at a high temperature and with a pressing cloth on an ironing board. But, you know, I'm working with what I've got here, folks. So I'm very anxious to see how this will turn out. I think this is going to be a very cute journal. I'm trying to right now, because some of the papers I have come across are not double-sided, are double-sided. I hate to be gluing pages together if I don't have to. So I'm trying to figure that, because I do want it to have writing space. All right, so we got that piece done. And I would like for the raggedy edges to be maintained. I'm going to try to maintain them. This side doesn't have the best raggedy edges. I need to press it down a little bit and maybe pull some more strings out. So here's my other piece. I'm using fusible interfacing. You always want to make sure there's a rough, bumpy side, and you can't see them on camera, and I'm not even lifting it up to close to the camera wouldn't even help. But you can feel them. There's a bumpy side with these little heat-activated dots that cause the facing to adhere to the fabric. And I wish I could make this go a little bit faster. It's kind of like watching paint dry. I think I might have a couple of new subscribers. Hopefully I can take a look before I'm finished and send them a hug. So Monday is Masterboard Monday, but it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to make a masterboard, although I really do need to make a couple more masterboards. I've used some of what I've made in the last few weeks. I do have the cloth, the one made out of fabric masterboard. I haven't sewed that yet. Maybe I will quickly sew that while I'm sewing around this. And because I do want to use that in this journal. And I would like to make a black and white masterboard out of, out of any paper that I can collect. Well, I do have quite a bit that I could make a black and white masterboard. I mean, we got, book pages, we got music pages. So, all right. So I actually think that this is not too bad. Oh, sorry I'm being quiet, but I just really want to get this ironed down. Okay, so let me just go see if I can iron this edge down. Make sure the corners are... I don't know about you, but I get so many spam calls, and sometimes they just come in quick succession, like boom, 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 one right after the other, and I try blocking them, but it doesn't do any good because they just will call from, they'll just use a different number, and they just keep trying to drive you crazy. My husband was awfully bad about answering these phone calls, and he was very so sometimes he would get hooked into talking to them. Finally, my daughter really, and I both, but he in his later years, he tended to listen to her more than he did me, which was fine. I didn't care as long as he got the message. She got it across to him that he just couldn't be doing that. It was dangerous. And then, lo and behold, not him, but I was the one that was nearly scammed for real. I can't remember if, I think the name of the movie was The Beekeeper. I had never watched that movie. I'm really not a big movie person, so I never watched it, but somebody recommended it to me after this happened to me. Fortunately, I knew that something was wrong, and I halted the process before I was robbed blind. But, so I definitely don't answer them anymore. I click them all off. I figure if somebody's trying to get in touch with me and I don't recognize the phone number, I will see if they leave a message. If they leave a message and it's important, then I'll call them back. But I don't make a habit of answering them these days, not since I had that experience. And then I felt so foolish after all the preaching to I did to my dear husband. All right, I just haven't ironed in a while. I just gotta iron. No, I don't like to iron at all. All right, let me unplug this iron, put it away. It's so cute because it even, here's the spout up here for putting water. Well, no, here's the spout for putting water, and this is how you create the steam. And then it comes with this cute little silicone pad that fits on there to protect it, protect your surfaces. And then this spins around for easier. It's the cutest little thing. I just love it. I had another small crafting iron that I really liked that I used when I was quilting, you know, to iron out my squares and press the edges and so forth, but I think it got lost in packing. All right, thank you for bearing with me through that. Okay, now we have our two pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my little sewing machine and I'm going to sew these together, and then I'll be right back. So I'll see you in a flash. You won't even know I was gone, right? Hi, I'm back. Gee, I'm a faster sewer than I thought I was. Okay, so I'm very, very happy with this, and I am going to be making another page with two different fabrics. You probably can't see the stitching, but I just zigzagged all around the edge. And I didn't do as much stitching as I wanted to do because my bobbin was almost empty. As a matter of fact, it ran out on me when I was sewing the masterboard, but I'm very, very happy the way it turned out. This interfusible bonding was just enough of stability as far as thickness goes. It gave the fabric some body without making it real stiff. Of course, you know, this is purely for decoration. Nobody is going to write on it. And two things I learned. Two things that when I make my next one I will improve on. I will make sure that these fabrics were very close in size. But as you can see, they were not perfect because I've got a lot of overhang here. This one on this side was barely sewed in, where on this end there was quite a bit, and up this end, like I said, I know you can't see it, but I'm glad I used a zigzag stitch because it caught it all in there. So number one, I would make sure that they were the same size, as close as I could possibly get them. Now I did this last night when I tore them, and I probably was in a little bit of a hurry because I was tired and I just wanted to get them ready for the video today. But and the other thing, what was the other thing? Well, the main thing was getting them closer in size. Oh, it'll come to me. So if you're interested, I gotta say, I was inspired. What inspired me was one of my granddaughter's little cloth books. You know, those little floppy, high contrast color books that little books that infants get, that you buy for infants. Well, that's what inspired me to do this, and I think this is just going to be so cool on this black and white journal. And like I said, I've got all of this is the masterboard. I did manage to get sewn all around this, and maybe you can see it. Now you can't see it at all. I should use the darker thread, but I just used what was in there. I did a straight stitch all the way around, and then I did a straight stitch and across. I would have preferred using the zigzag stitch, but I knew my bobbin was running out of thread, and it did, you know, partway through the second line that I was drawing like this, that I stitched like this. But I will go back and restitch and do some more stitching on this. I just didn't want to take the time to reload my bobbin, which is something I always hate to do in every machine, and it's not that difficult to do, believe me. So these are the master boards that we'll be using. Yes, your little skirt is red and his little pants are red. So I've got a lot of fabrics here I can choose from. I may, the next one, make one with Minnie and I don't know, one of these other fabrics, maybe the gingham. I don't know. We'll see. I have choices. So that is that for right now on those master boards. And if you want to attempt to do something like this yourself, you could do it even if you don't have a sewing machine. It would not be that difficult. If you know how to do a running stitch, or there's somebody in your family that knows anything about sewing or embroidery or whatever, a simple running stitch is just that, very simple. Just taking primitive stitches and running, putting the needle in, knotting it, and running it, you know, in and out, in and out, in and out, and not too big of pieces. I think I have a quick example of it here, which I intentionally did in a very primitive way. I didn't intend for it to be neat by any stretch of the imagination. I got this journal out in the video that I did that went up, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, because nursing is going to be the journal that I pulled out to do for my next journal. And here, all right, see, and these stitches are not evenly placed. They're not even really straight, but I intended it that way. But a running stitch is simply this, just taking a needle and thread and sewing in and out, you know, in and out, to sew your fabric down. And I stitched this apparently to this piece of cardstock behind it and made a little pocket. So that's what a running stitch is. Very easy to do. So you could do this as well. You wouldn't necessarily need you don't need a sewing machine to do it. You could also do the running stitch, or if you know other slow stitching patterns, that seems to be what hand stitching is called now, slow stitching. You could do the same thing and to, you know, decorate it a little bit more. I'm happy with this. I'm very, very happy with the way this turned out. And I think that this interfacing was just the right strength to make this the thickness and the oh, what do I want to use? The thickness and the kind of, not stability, but anyway. Oh well. It is just right. And this you can purchase on Amazon. It's very reasonable. It's I looked up the price. It's $5.01. You get 20 inches in a yard. 20 inches times a yard, and that really is quite a bit. So it's 1 yard long and 20 inches in width, and it's the heavyweight heat and bond fusible interfacing, if you're interested. So that is one of my pages for my black and white journal. And it's actually maybe a little bit too long. And I cut it a little long on purpose because I wasn't sure how much the interfacing and the stitching might draw it up. But I think next time, not only will I make sure that it's evenly, that the fabrics are both the same size, but I think I will make it about maybe a ½ inch shorter. The width is fine. And this is going to be very easy to sew in because it's just fabric. So I like it. I hope you like it. And I hope you'll want to try it. Because what a fun addition to a journal this would make. Now, that's really about all I had for the video today. So, I hope that you will join me on Monday for Masterboard Monday because, like I said, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. And again, it's nothing that you haven't seen before. I know, but I rediscovered it when I took out an old journal that I had made several months ago. And I thought, why did I not do that anymore? I don't know. So we're going to do that on Monday. And then over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'll probably do a page in my glue book and also start on the nurse journal as well. If it's nothing more than, well, I had to order the piece of fabric. I didn't really have a piece of fabric in my stash that I thought was really appropriate. No, wait. I take all that back that I just said. I take all that back. I did look for a piece of fabric, but I didn't find one. So I have got so much fabric in my stash, I'm sure I can find an appropriate piece of material that will look just fine, be just fine for it. So I wanted to tell you what kind of sewing machine I have. I'm very happy with this little machine so far. I had another craft machine that I purchased in 2024, and I was very disappointed in it. I didn't think I would be. It was a Singer, a Singer crafting and mending machine is what I think it went under. It was inexpensive. It was less than $100, and I have utmost respect for Singer products, but I was sorely disappointed in this particular machine. I don't remember what the model name or anything was. Fortunately, the seller did take it back. I purchased it on Amazon, but it was through a private seller apparently. And he did agree to take it back, so I really appreciated that. I got my money back for it. But this machine is a Brother, and I love Brother products. My first sewing machine that I bought in recent years, because I lost, I had a good Singer, but I lost it in a flood. I believe that's what happened to it, or we lost it in a move. It still may be in Michigan in storage. I don't know, to be honest, but I don't have it. And so the first machine I bought was a Brother, not an expensive Brother, just a mid-range, like less than $200 Brother, and I loved it. It's a great machine. My daughter also bought herself one, but hers was a little bit less expensive, kind of several steps above this one, but maybe one step below the one I had, you know. And they both were really nice machines. They sew so well, and they had a variety of stitches. And this one that I have is, the model number is LX3817A. That's LX3817A. I did purchase it online from Walmart. It was less than $90, but it was on sale. Now I don't know if it still is on sale, or if that, you know how they put things on sale, but they're really not on sale. That's just the price they always sell things for. So anyway, I was a little bit hesitant. I didn't start using it right away because I was very hesitant about using it. But now that I've used it a couple of times, I really like it for what it does. The stitches are limited. I think there's 13. They're all straight stitch and zigzag in different sizes. And it also does a buttonhole stitch, which I can't see myself ever doing for a junk journal. But you never know. I might want to do that sometime. So I do recommend that machine if you're looking for one. I know other creators have recommended other machines, so you really have to just, if you're interested in purchasing one and not spending a lot of money, you just have to shop and compare prices and see what you think will work the best for you. But getting off of this sewing machine thing, because again, if you want to do something like this for your journal, you don't have to have a sewing machine. You can hand stitch these pieces of material together, but I would recommend getting some interfacing of some type. Even I wouldn't necessarily going in and sewing two pieces of fabric together to get that thickness, because then that is going to add additional bulk, where this interfacing really does not add any bulk, so as to speak. So I do want to send a digital hug and a great big thank you to Loretta Wright. She is the latest subscriber. Thank you so much, Kanetta. I hope I'm saying your name right. That has subscribed, that I can see in the list that YouTube gives me. So thank you so very much. And I want to thank you all first for watching my video, and for you who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and give me a like if you like this. If you didn't like it, then I don't expect you to, to give me a like. I mean, what kind of person would I be? But anyway, I appreciate you for watching. I really do, and I am enjoying making these videos for you. I'm getting a lot out of it myself, even if nobody else is. So be blessed. God bless you. I do pray for y'all. I don't know what your needs might be or where you are, but I do take the time each day to pray over those who may be watching me that might be in need of prayer. I don't know, but God knows. So anyway, thank you again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this and that you will want to try it. If you haven't done so, if you've done this already, oh, please let me know. I would be so interested in knowing, so anxious to hear. So thank you again, and be blessed regardless of what time of the day it is for you. Enjoy the rest of your time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.